After a 3-week break in Belgium at home, we're picking up the adventure right where we left it. We are reunited with Tony the Toyota and we continue our trip in Namibia. The reason for our break is a special one. My cousin and one of our best friends got married, and we made a promise that we would fly home for their wedding if they would fly back with us to Namibia for their honeymoon. And today we're turning that promise into reality. I am Celine, and this is Benjamin. We are traveling the world with our Toyota Land Cruiser. After completing the first leg of our journey through Europe and the Middle East, the next chapter is Africa. We have arrived to Windhoek this afternoon. It has been quite a hectic arrival, getting from the airport to the city, and then Benjamin and I went to the supermarket, the liquor store, the MTC mobile data store, and our friends went to pick up their rental car and got the whole explanation how to use the car and the rooftop tent and all the camping gear. And we're now making our way to the first campsite in the city of Windhoek, where we will meet them, so we will install ourselves, and then I think it's time for the first Windhoek. A beer, a Windhoek. Welcome in urban camp. What a car!
What a driver!
We spend the evening at camp, and here comes the first of many cheers.
Hey!
Een keer dat we het open zijn, hè? For once that we're all together. With this legendary sentence, Miguel always tries to keep us out a little longer. First morning in Windhoek, we slept relatively well, but our friends were a bit cold. The night cooled down to 10 degrees here in Windhoek, so yeah, that's pretty cold. We will provide them with some extra blankets and hope it will be better in the next nights. I'm following Benjamin to the shower because it's a pretty cool spot. I wasn't allowed to film any longer, but I just wanted to show you that it's a nice camp. We are in the middle of the city, and still they really did their best to make cozy corners. The ablutions are really clean and nicely done, so we like it. We left Windhoek this morning and we are now on our first dirt roads, which for us is pretty normal, but for them it's a first. And we made a little transit through a private game reserve, and on the transit road we managed to spot some elephants and some giraffes. Exciting morning! We're completely installed at Mount Etjo campsite. We saw Mount Etjo today when driving. Now we don't see it, but still it's called Mount Etjo here. And we're gonna have a braai tonight, because you cannot come to Namibia without having a braai. We're taking an early start today. We're going on our first game drive together. Well, actually our only game drive together. We didn't have the time to go all the way to Etosha with them, so we chose this private game reserve and hope we will still see some animals. The first animals greet us right at the lodge, and outside we don't have to wait long either.
wildebeest. Black wildebeest.
My.
Beautiful, eh?
The mountain flat like a turbo is the one named Mount Etjo.
Yeah.
First safari for our friends and straight into the good stuff. White. Some repositioning and cameras in overdrive. We were pretty stoked about our time in Okonjati Game Reserve, a private reserve that actively protects its rhinos. Every game drive comes with a pause. In the afternoon, a sundowner, but in the morning, it's coffee and cookies. After the break, we follow lion tracks. We don't find them, but got a very special elephant encounter instead. One that will stay with us for a long time. We spot 2 elephants, far from the track. They seem on the move, as if they might cross our path. But then they stop. Our guide drives closer, something we would never dare on our own. We trust his reading of the moment and of their mood. What follows is unreal. I've never been this close to an elephant for this long. Close enough to see the wrinkles, the tiny hairs on its skin, and hear its breathing. Later, I asked the guide how he was so sure they wouldn't charge. He knows them. 2 young adult males, curious about the car, but cautious the moment it moves. As the elephant is now blocking the road, we turn around, all very silent. and totally stunned by what we just witnessed. It wasn't Etosha, but it was a worthy alternative, with bonus points for the lodge pool we get to use as campers. And the wildlife wasn't done with us yet. A Kirk's dik-dik welcomed us at camp, the smallest antelope in Africa. We're winding down the day. It was an incredible safari day today. We had such a close elephant encounter that it's almost unbelievable that Miguel and Febe had this on their first safari ever. We already did a lot of safari and we were still like overwhelmed with how incredible it was. Agree, guys?
Agree! Yes!
Today we leave Mount Etjo Safari Lodge and Okonjati Wildlife Sanctuary. We take slow roads toward Omaruru to stock up for the days ahead, before pushing on into the Erongo region. The downside of these slow roads, whoever drives behind lives in a permanent cloud of dust. Lots of dust. Next activity, cycling at Erongo Rocks. Really cool. We're following single track trails and suddenly we have a bunch of giraffes in front of us. Cycling here is incredibly beautiful, with the red granite boulders of the Erongo Mountains all around us.
And? You like it?
But halfway through the ride, Febe starts to feel unwell, so we shorten the route and take the quickest way back to the lodge.
Erongo Rocks! Yeehaw!
More time at the pool definitely wasn't a punishment here. The next afternoon we leave Erongo behind and set course for the next icon, Spitzkoppe. We are happy we can show our friends the beauty of Namibia. Empty roads, open space, and a few photo stops along the way. After all, it is their honeymoon. Yesterday was gonna be our first wild camp night with Miguel and Febe, but Febe wasn't feeling well, so we opted to stay in the lodge where we did the cycling tour. Today, with a bit of new energy, we are back on the road and we will make a second attempt to do wild camping. We're currently taking an alternative route to Spitzkoppe and it's the first time they're using their 4x4. We're not yet using it, so it's pretty doable, but it's nice to get off the gravel even. We find a wild camp just outside the boundaries of Spitzkoppe, sheltered from the wind behind giant boulders that suddenly don't feel so giant anymore if you put them in perspective. Out here, the rocks are visible from miles away as they rise from endless plains. Our boulder becomes the perfect throne to watch the sun go down. We have entered Spitzkoppe. We woke up early to get a good start, but our friends are not really morning persons without their coffee. So we need to have coffee first. Within Spitzkoppe National Park, sand tracks lead to different points of interest. Our first stop requires a steep climb. Once up, you are rewarded by fantastic views over the Namib Desert. Here we find Bushman Paradise, a cave with rock paintings from the Sun people that have been there at least 2000 years. Next, we move closer to the iconic Spitzkoppe, often called the Matterhorn of Namibia. From this angle, we don't really see the resemblance yet. Our visit at Spitzkoppe is all about driving around and making some stops at scenic viewpoints. We're not doing a big hike because they all need to be booked and you need a guide. And we also still want to make some kilometers today. So we just make some short stops. We do a little photo shoot with Spitzkoppe as our backdrop. Phoebe goes the extra mile. Miguel, slightly less enthusiastic about his new wife's acrobatics. Leaving the park on the western side, we finally see it, the Matterhorn of Namibia. We left Spitzkoppe after lunch and are now arriving at the Brandberg area. It's another small mountain range in the middle of plains. You can see it from far away. We already saw it when we left Spitzkoppe, although it was still about 80 kilometers away. The Brandberg area is home to the desert elephants. You have most chance of seeing the desert elephants between June and September, so we're a bit too early now in May, but we have met other travelers who saw them about 3 weeks ago, so we hope we are lucky to spot some elephants in the Ugap river bed. As we're following the dry riverbed and it's getting more and more heavy for the cars to proceed, we're deflating the tires a bit and hopefully get more of a smooth ride. After the rains, these riverbeds fill with water, so it's pretty wild to know we're driving and walking in a river. Bad news, the desert elephants are not in the area. So we took a resting day instead, poolside, and we're staying another night on this campsite. We're walking the dry Ugap river now, and we'll soon start preparing dinner. Brandberg, meaning fire mountain in Afrikaans, is the highest mountain in the country. At sunset, the granite glows orange. That's when the name Fire Mountain truly comes to life. Today we leave the Brandberg area. An endless horizon in front of us. Yet the mountain stays with us for a long time in the rearview mirror. The roads are slow, but oh so beautiful. What comes next is far from the main tourist radar. We make our way towards Namibia's coast through the Messum crater, an ancient collapsed volcano, where lava once shaped the land. It's rough, remote, and wildly scenic. We have arrived to a very special place. You wouldn't tell, but today we are camping in the middle of a volcano crater. The crater is huge. We have this deal with our friends. The whole trip is a bit of a surprise, so we only say the planning of the day before. So when we were saying yesterday that this night we were gonna camp in a volcano crater, they expected like a small cone in which we would camp. But this whole area is all crater, it's gigantic. We drove out of the Messum crater this morning after a very windy night, and along the way we made a stop at a seal colony at Cape Cross, which was touristy but pretty impressive because they are with a lot of seals. The things you cannot tell on the video is that it stinks, really, it really stinks. But anyway, it was impressive to see. And now we are on tar roads. That has been a while, I don't know, a few days already since we have seen the last tar roads. So these tar roads will bring us to Swakopmund. Good morning! This morning we booked a tour to explore the dunes of Sandwich Harbour with a guide and his car. We can park both of our cars and let us drive. Our friends have no clue what we're gonna do. They know we're going on a tour and that we have to be at 9 o'clock in Walvis Bay. They think we're gonna go on a boat to spot whales, but now that we're driving past these big dunes, they might have a better idea where we're gonna go into. Good morning. What are we gonna do?
Go for a cruise.
What do you think?
Walvis spotting.
Whale watching. Alright, let's wait for the boat to come here.
Tours and safaris.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a bit of an African massage.
Okay.
That's because of the roads.
Before the African massage begins, we make a short stop with these greater flamingos. And then the joyride begins. The first stop is beautiful, but windy and very sandy. Still, did I say beautiful? It's hard to grasp the scale of these dunes. Only when another car appears does it really sink in. Or when you're carving through the dunes hanging on, the scale becomes impossible to ignore.
Zie je dat, Savanna?
This is Sandwich Harbour, where the desert meets the sea. You need to catch it at low tide. Once the tide turns, the ocean pushes right up against the dunes. Ready for one last ride?
Whoa.
She's always first checking your face. If you're scared, she's
She's
scared.
also scared.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Almost time to head back, but first we refuel ourselves. That was really cool. It wasn't whale watching, but I think our friends had a good time. There was a lot of yelling, mostly from the girls, but I think even more fun. We had a very good, informative guide, but also who felt that we were into some roller coaster rides. The day is not yet finished. We still have quite a long drive ahead of us, around 3.5 hours from Walvis to Solitaire, which is bringing us closer to Sossusvlei, which we will visit the next day, but don't tell them yet. We're leaving Walvis Bay on the tar roads, but soon it will be gravel again. Actually, the first 100 kilometers is made from salt and sand, so that means we will still have a relatively smooth ride for the first part. Yay! While the road starts out monotone, flat plains for hours, it slowly transforms. The closer we get to Solitaire, the prettier it becomes. From the Tropic of Capricorn, it's another hour to our campsite. We are arriving to our new campsite, Ababi's guest farm, and there's an extra surprise today. We don't have to cook. We will join the communal family table and someone else will cook for us. They didn't know it yet, but this would be the last picture-perfect Namibian campsite of their trip, where we wake up in complete quiet. Benjamin flies the drone to capture the vast scale. so focused on the bigger picture, he almost misses this little detail. Not far from our camp. We are back in Sossusvlei. We were here a few weeks ago and then we came late afternoon. Then we were still planning on coming back with our friends in the morning for sunrise. But we saw late afternoon that it's empty, no other tourists. So we decided that was gonna be more unique to do with our friends. So that's why we are here in almost the middle of the day. It's around 3:30 now. It's still very hot, but they call it winter now. So that means it's only 29 degrees and not 35 or 40, like if you would come earlier in the year. The plan of today is to climb the Big Daddy Dune. It should take us around 1.5 hours to the top, but probably some of us are faster than others. No, we will stick together and celebrate on the top with a good glass of water. Hundreds of footsteps passed here this morning, all erased by the sand and wind. So we have to break the trail again, a tiring task. We are getting there. We're almost at the top. And sometimes it's super windy and then you're just walking next to the highest point of the sand dune and you get all the sand in your face. That's why I'm keeping this over my sunglasses, but I think I cannot see any higher than this. That's a good sign. Yay! That was definitely longer and tougher than I thought. What about you? And now comes the most fun part, going down. This is really cool. Smooth sailing down. Big Daddy's size is hard to grasp on camera. At around 325 meters tall, it's one of the highest dunes in the world. So even the run down took us a few full minutes. With the sun going down, we squeezed in one last honeymoon photo shoot. Yeah. Perfect. It's 5:30. Half of the campsite is awake to go and see the sunrise at Sossusvlei. But we are going on another activity. We left in the dark with the quads and now we're waiting on a little hill for the sun to rise. We're having the last bush breakfast because tomorrow morning it will be buffet, as we will be staying in a lodge this night. Are you ready for some luxury? The driveway to the lodge was already promising. Welcome to We-Kebi Safari Lodge. This is just magical. We were waiting for our friends to arrive at our terrace for a little sundowner drink, and suddenly they yelled, "Look, look, look!" And 3 rhinos are passing by. Father, mother, and baby. They're determined, heading straight for the waterhole in front of the lodge, and that's where we'll meet them. They're not the only ones putting on a show. The antelopes do their best to steal a scene. But the rhinos are the undeniable star players. We thought they were leaving, but they were just heading to the second waterhole. This one has a height, which lets you watch them from eye level, as if you've quietly slipped into their world. We're having our final morning in the bush before we head back to Windhoek today. And we were just checking the menu, trying to decide what eggs we would take. And suddenly we saw 4 rhinos coming to the waterhole. This lodge and this private game reserve is famous for the rhinos they have. We were happy to see it was a different family than yesterday. So there was really a small little baby with them. And while we were looking through the binoculars, I saw that one of them was entangled in wire. So we alerted the team, and they will soon bring it into sedation with the darts, and then they will remove it, and hopefully it can walk around unbothered again after that. And now the end is near. Dag! Thanks, friends. We had a blast. Next episode, we are supposed to take you further north into Namibia and across the border with Angola. But right now, those memories are sitting on a hard drive that may or may not make it back to us. Travel teaches you to let go of control, to accept that some moments are fleeting and some stories have to wait. If the footage returns, we'll take you there. If it doesn't, the journey lives only in our memories.